Hello, encouragers. I'm Rebekah Scott, wife, mother of 4, author, and owner and designer of Rebekah Scott Designs. I'm here to encourage you, to make you feel that I can do this spirit each and every day of our awesome journeys to fulfill our many important roles. I believe we are fully equipped to execute, and I will provide as much knowledge, practices, and systems as I can to help you understand just what I know you can do. Execute. We got this. Hello, encouragers. On today's podcast, I want to talk to you about a concept that came to me while I was in the bathtub. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. When you're taking a shower, that's when the big idea comes to you and you don't have a sheet of paper and a pencil. Or in the middle of the night, or the times when you allow your brain to relax enough that all of a sudden the solution or the idea comes to you. Yeah, I totally know that's like. And ladies, this is how we can justify taking lots of bubble baths. I need it because that's where my ideas come from, right? Okay, I just gave you permission. Go ahead. Take me up on it. This podcast is titled Wishing versus Planning, especially in this stage of life. And the way that I think we naturally operate is say, well, I wish this would be this way, or I'm hoping is another phrase we use, but we particularly use the word, oh, I wish I had more time to. We say that one a lot. Well, I want to talk to you a little bit about what it would mean to plan instead of to wish. And it came to me while I was in the bathtub and read the edge of a magazine. And it said, it takes as much energy to wish as it does to plan. And I immediately thought, well, that is fascinating. And it's true. It takes just as much mental bandwidth to wish on something as it does to plan on something. So I'm going to tell you a few action steps, 4 action steps to make your wishing more of planning. Okay? And then I've got a couple of great examples of how it's worked in my personal life. So ladies, first off, we're going to take more bubble baths or whatever it is that gets us reset to have big ideas. And second of all, we're going to listen to these steps and we're going to get really serious about this and treat this as homework. My podcast is a little bit different in that, yes, I do some interviews, but I also do a lot of just hands-on homework style podcasts because it's all I know to do is break things down into steps and get after it. So that is exactly what I'm providing you with. Okay, you may say the phrase, I wish, how many times in a day? So what I want you to do first is every time you say, I wish, I want you to just jot it down. Don't get hard on yourself. Don't judge yourself. Don't edit yourself. Just write down every time you find yourself saying, I wish, blah, blah, blah. I wish I had more time for marketing. I wish I was better at typing. I wish I understood social media. I wish I had a bigger space. I wish I had more employees. I wish I was at a larger number. I wish I had more money too. Every time you say, I wish, I want you to just jot it down. Again, no editing, no judging, no anything. Just write it down. You just want to be in observance of what it is. Okay? Do this for a couple of days. It might take a week for you to fully get out all of your wishes. Totally get it. Okay? I wish, write it down. Then I want you to take 1 full hour. That's right. 1 full hour to dissect these wishing plans with these steps. I want you to chunk it down. So number 1, I wish, you're going to write it down for a full week, all the wishes. Step number 2 is I want you to chunk it down. What does your wishing statement look like at 10%, 20%, 60%, 80%? What does it look like to plan that wish at small percentages, just chunking it down? And I'll give some examples here, okay? The number 3 step is that I want you to step it out. How would you accomplish these steps? How would you order these steps? Like, let's say you decided to do the wish at 20%. That's the only thing you can handle during this season of life. You only want to do the step at 20%. Well, if that is true, what does that 20% look like? And write the steps to achieve just that 20% of that wish. You are planning here, not wishing any longer. So I want you to plan out some steps. And number 4 is I want you to build a planning team. You know, I love the word team because it's accountability and it's a group of people gathered together. The Bible talks all the time about where 2 or 3 are gathered, I am near. Well, then gather up the troops. You can even serve coffee if you would like. But build a team around this plan, not this wish, but this plan to hold you accountable. This does not have to be paid staff. This can be family and friends. But you're going to build a planning team around this new plan, not wish. So you're going to tell them at the beginning of the meeting, hey, I am no longer going to be wishing for XYZ. I'm going to be planning on it. And you are step number 4 of my plan from the encourager. Now, you don't have to put the last part, but you know I am. So during this meeting, I want you to say the words, okay, everybody, the goal of this plan is to, the intent of this plan is to, the obstacles of this plan are, and the execution of this plan is. Okay? Those 4 things will help you accomplish what would have been a wish into a plan. Pretty powerful, isn't it? And pretty simple. Okay, so now I'm going to give you some examples. First, I want to remind you, you're going to write down for a full week all the times you say, I wish, in a day. Then you're going to chunk it down. Can you do this wish, which is now a plan, at 10%, 20%, 60%, 80%? What can you actually apply legitimately in your current stage of life? How much of this wish, now plan, can you apply? How much can you do? Then step number 3 is you're going to step it out. You're going to number out the steps to accomplish this new plan. And then number 4, you're going to build a planning team where you're going to ask them, here's the goal, here's the intent, here are the obstacles, and here's how to execute on it. Okay? Hey, encouragers, if you haven't heard already, we opened up enrollment for the January Master Course. You guys, this course has been so powerful for an awesome group of women already that we can offer here on The Encourager. It is a master course based on my book, Equipped to Execute, Guiding Moms to Joyfully Impact Family and Business, and really honing in on their specific needs in their different family roles and in their different jobs. The power of me as their coach is just mostly the encourager and someone who has made a lot of awesome business successes and business failures that I can share with them. And then also their classmates to help hold them accountable and offer them ideas and grace and love and a lot of cheerleading. Join the course. January is a perfect month for you to make the commitment to make 2020 your best year yet. Allow me and your classmates to make that happen. We already have 1 participant in the course, so that means 5 seats are available. The enrollment is open now, so sign up on the website at theencouragerpodcast.com and make 2020 your best year yet. Okay, some examples of this wishing versus planning would be my book journey. So I had put probably 5 years before I wrote the book, I want to write a book. And I had put it on some kind of bucket list type of thing when I had more time to think and reflect. And then I started thinking as I recorded the podcast, the feedback I was getting is excellent podcast, but I'd really like to have something tangible from you. I really want to be able to pick it up and read a little bit more about your encouraging words and how you're doing your method and the written form of it, not necessarily the audio form of it. And I thought, okay, well, this is perfect. I can write a book, which some of you may be laughing and go, how would you ever tackle that? It's with the way I've been since I was little. I take big concepts and break them down fairly simply. It doesn't mean they're easy, but I break them down into simple steps that could be accomplished. So I thought, all right, it's time to write my book. Well, what is doable in this stage of life? I had 3 kiddos at the time, so I knew I couldn't write a 50,000 word book. It had to be probably 15,000 words or less. The consumer needed to be able to consume it in less than 2 hours. Because that for me, that was just the truth in my stage of life of what I had time to read. So I was listening to my audience about what they wanted and what they could actually have time to consume, and also for my own personal lifestyle. I thought, I can't spend more than 5 hours a week writing this. That was the truth too. Okay. So writing the book, the goal was, the first step was, I wish I could write a book. The second step was chunking it down. Well, how can I do this book at 20%? Because it's not possible for me to quit both my current jobs, the podcast, in the purse business, Rebekah Scott Designs, I couldn't just quit both to write this book. That would be 100% of the wish, right? Couldn't do that. But I could do about 20%, meaning I could write some of it, take it to an editor to iron out a lot of the kinks, bring it back to me to iron out more of the kinks and explain myself that much better. I could do that, and I could commit 5 hours a week to it. So I knew how to chunk it down. I knew to tell the editor, which was a publisher here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, I knew to tell them, I can commit 5 hours to this a week. How long will it take with only 5 hours a week of my time to get this book published? And they were like, awesome. I'm really glad that you are so clear on what it is you want and that you've given us an idea of the time that you can apply to it. So he really helped me with the outline form first. And that was part of the package that I paid for, is him helping me come up with the outline for the book, telling him why I wanted to write it, what I wanted to make sure that was in it, gave me the outline form, and then said, here you go, fill out these questions, which were for the outline. And I spent 5 hours a week filling out this outline and writing my book. And then I would take it back to him after the 5 hours were written, and he would edit it, send it back to me and say, explain this better. And I need more of your voice in this. Even though, it was my voice, he wanted some of my comedy in it. So, hey, P.S., read the book. It's called Equipped to Execute. It's on Amazon and on the encouragerpodcast.com. You will definitely hear my humor in it. So that was how I approached that. At 20% is what I knew I could handle, just 5 hours a week. And also, you guys, I wanted it. I wanted it so bad. So I woke up at 4 a.m. on Friday mornings to fit in these 5 hours. So my wish turned into a plan because I made it a plan. Okay, step 3 was to step it out. What steps do I need to accomplish this? So I decided I was going to do 20% of the goal. Then the third part was step it out. Well, what are the steps that I need to make? Well, I needed to meet with the publisher, which I did, tell him my goal. I want to work on this 5 hours a week. I want to have this published by May of 2016. Here are my goals. Here's how to step it out. How do I approach this? Help me do this. And then also telling my family, here's the new plan. My husband, I'm going to wake up at 4 a.m. on Fridays and write a book. You're going to do what? And how are you going to pay for it? You know how I paid for it? You know how I started the first payment for it? You guys, I sold a cow. Yeah. I wanted to cash flow it. And the only way that I could justify doing that was to sell a cow to make the first down payment. The rest I was able to cash flow, but I sold a cow. I'm telling you, I was no longer wishing, I was planning, and that's exactly what I did. And the fourth step was to build a planning team. So some of my team came from the publisher. They brought the team out, helped me write the outline. It was him, an illustrator, which I didn't use an illustrator in my book, but an illustrator helps paint the picture in your mind. So that was kind of a beautiful part of the process. And then the publisher's wife, who was actually in charge of graphic work and a woman's point of view. And so she helped it was amazing. And so that was kind of my planning team. Hey, here's how long I'm able to work on it. Here's the dates I want it printed on. Here are the concepts I wanted. That was my team. And then also telling my team, my home-based team, what it meant for mommy. It meant that I was going to get up really early on Friday mornings. It meant I was going to go to bed really early on Fridays because I was up so early in the morning. But that this book would not interfere too much with our time at home, but it did require some extra meetings. But the reward would be worth it because mommy was helping as many women as possible follow a journey that I know is possible for all of you. Again, read the book. I promise you'll feel encouraged. So that was my example of a wishes versus planning scenario. First, I wish. Write it down for 1 week. Second, chunk it down. How can you do it at 10%, 20%, 100%? Step it out. What are the steps in order to accomplish this plan? And then build a planning team, whether that comes with the new plan or you build up some friends and say, here's my plan. I need you to hold me accountable. Another journey that I'm currently on that I thought I should just totally share with you is I wish I had a better tack house. So the tack house is the place where I store the extra leather, the extra cardboard boxes, the extra inventory, some of my display racks. It's a tack house. It is a semi-trailer that I bought for dirt cheap. And we fixed it up just enough so that it could house these things and it would be weatherproof and mouse-proof. Well, long story short, or not really long story at all, short story, I have a mouse problem and I've been attacking it. So maybe a mouse problem because of my optimistic viewpoint is too strong of a term, But we have had mice in there, and I can't have that. So we definitely seal up everything, but the little buggers are in there, and that bothers me. So we've been killing them. So I knew right now I need to find a better solution for the tack house. But it's not an option for me right now. I don't want to cash flow just building a big shed. So I wish I had a better tack house turned into, I'm planning to find a better tack house. So what does that mean? So I chunk it down. What does it look like if I do this at 10%? Well, I set better traps. I weatherproof that one corner. That's 10%. Is that really going to save me much? No, I need a better attack than that. So what if I did it at 60%, where I blew in insulation and really welded together that one corner that leaks, made sure there was absolutely nothing in the tack house that was cardboard. It was all covered and sealed up. That would be at 60% of the plan. 80% of the plan was to build this shed, but not do all the bells and whistles until maybe a year or two later, when I could cash flow that better. So what I decided to do is that I can do, turns out to be about 40% of this plan. I am going to weatherproof it better with some spray foam and mouse-proof it by making sure that everything is completely sealed up and going on the inside to see where the light is coming in and where these mice might be coming in, which is also the foam insulation that I can put in there. So that's how I chunked it down. I'm going to take it at 40%. The steps are also what I just mentioned. Okay, I'm going to get a hold of a builder that helps us with our house and say, hey, how can I make this tack house better? And if I paid you $1,500, what would that give me? Like, can you build a roof over the top of it? Can you weld this corner? Can you help me with the gate, which is basically the door? How can you help me for this price? That is stepping it out. And then I built a planning team. I asked my husband, okay, who else should I be asking to help me out with the tack house? Because I don't want to build a whole new one just yet, but I do need to make this better, because the plan is I need a better tack house. Not the wish, the plan. So how can I do this? My husband is helping me reach it. That's another just great example of every time you say, I wish. And my final example for me personally was, I wish I had more design time. And you know, frequently I say on the podcast, if you don't have new customers or new product, your business is dying. That's the truth. That's the hard truth. And I didn't feel like I was getting enough design time in. So I would say, oh, I wish I had more design time. Well, that is not something I could do because I needed to make sure that I was designing and behind that cutting table. So I turned it into, I plan to have more design time. And what does that mean? So I chunk it down. If I have more design time, just 10% more, what would that look like? 20, 60, 80. I decided for myself it needed to be 60%. I need 60% more design time because my audience is that much larger, and I had so many ideas stored up in my head that I could not get them all out and planned out to get them to all my awesome customers. So I decided that Thursdays and Fridays were pretty much completely blocked out for design time. I would finish my work by Wednesday night. If that meant I had to allow one seamstress to do a little bit more of my work so that I could start working on the first prototypes, that is what it meant. It meant alerting my team. Listen, on Thursdays and Fridays, I still do quite a bit of meetings and interviews on Thursdays and Fridays, but the rest of the day, you better believe I'm designing something awesome. And it fluctuates. You know, I used to have more design time, and then I got really into the leadership part of it, and I just had some meaty turnover with seamstresses, and just life things start happening, and being pregnant myself and the nursing and still having 2 kids at home. It was like, okay, I actually had more design time during those years until I started getting more into the leadership position because my teams were becoming so awesomely large, deciding who could take on some of those roles that I had taken on that I didn't know I didn't need to take on, like payroll, like answering every single customer email, like doing the shipping once a week myself. Like, how do I get people in position so that I can spend more time designing? So I had to chunk that down, think about what the steps were. I'm like, okay, well, I need to train somebody to do payroll. I need to train somebody else to do the shipping that I was trying to do on my own. And then I also built the team around this plan. Like, hey guys, here's the thing. I need to design more. How can we make this happen? The goal is to design more. The intent is because I need new product to the customer. The obstacle is some of the stuff I don't even know how to train. So can you help me walk through that? And the execution is that you will see an outflow of designs from me when we have this all in place. So those are a couple of examples when you do the wishing versus planning. We're no longer going to say, I wish, which you are allowed to say as long as you write it down and then you think about how to plan for it. So you're going to write down for 1 week all the times you say, I wish. Then you're going to say, I plan to instead. And you're going to chunk it down. What does it look like at 10%, 20%? Don't judge yourself or edit yourself on what percent you pick. Pick this percent that works for your lifestyle right now. Maybe you can only do that wish at 10%. Well, do that wish at 10%. It's totally fine. You're going to plan for the 10%. And then the next time you're going to plan for 60% of it and then 100% of it. You don't have to be judgmental on the percent you pick. Just pick and plan a percent for this plan. Okay? Then you're going to step it out. What are the steps to accomplish this new plan? And you're going to build a planning team, people to hold you accountable, that will help you brainstorm on it, that will help you to see the outside influences. When you meet with the team, you're going to say, the plan is, my goal is, the intent of this plan is this, my obstacles include this, and my execution of the plan will look like this. Amazing. It takes as much energy to wish as it does to plan. Encouragers, we are planners. Until next time, we got this. Hey, encouragers, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you've had the scene where you're crying because there's no way you can meet all the roles in your life, I've been there. I've so been there, but I'm not there anymore. And I know how you can get out of that slump and start executing on all the things that God has equipped you to do. You can pick up my book at equippedtoexecute.com, also on my website at shoprsd.com, and it's also available on Amazon. Thank you for tuning in, encouragers. Remember to subscribe so it's automatically on your phone, and please rate and review me. We got this, encouragers.